let's get to my first guest of the evening from the West Coast, that is California. She has an EP out right now entitled My California, and joining us to talk about that and so much more, the one and only Katie Fry. How's it going?
Hey, nice to be here. Thank you. How are you doing?
We're doing pretty good. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Appreciate you.
Of course. Thanks for having me. So, where are you at? What state are you in?
I live in Kentucky.
Wow, nice. I have family from there.
Okay, where in Kentucky are your family at?
My father-in-law is from, well, I'm not sure if I can say it properly with my California accent, but it's Louisville. Did
That
I
was
say
about
it
right.
right?
Yeah, yeah, Louisville. Yeah, yeah, Louisville,
It's not
Louisville. Yeah,
Louisville, right?
yeah,
Not
Louisville.
actually Louisville like most of the world says.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that city. That's home of the Kentucky Derby, obviously.
Yes.
We have quite the music scene here with Chris Stapleton, Sturgill Simpson, and many other country acts. We kind of know more for country and some hip hop here and there, but it's pretty cool. So shout out to your family out in Louisville. You are in the opposite coast, the more
Yes.
warm and early at the moment portion of the coast. That is California. And we got a busy show um, happening right now. So let's get to all things Katie Fry. Before we talk about the EP that is My California, let's talk about your music journey up to this point. How did you what got you into this thing called music? How did it start off for you?
Sure. Well, I think as long as I can, uh, I've always been into music. As a child, I wanted to sing and dance, and there was a piano in the house, an old antique piano. Nobody knew how to play it, but I kind of grew up and taught myself how to play it as I became older. And in middle school, I played the flute in band, and that gave me an introduction to reading music. And I continued to play the flute all the way through high school. I played in the marching band, and I actually became the drum majorette. The drum major is the person that conducts the band for parades or the halftime shows at football games. So that was a lot of fun. And at the same time, I was teaching myself to play guitar. And then my music story kind of moved in so many different directions. I played with a five-piece band and as a soloist for many years, and then I kind of took a new direction and I went back to school and I learned how to play the harp, not the harmonica, but a
Okay.
big folk harp, and it has wheels on it. And I became a therapeutic bedside musician for people in hospice care and memory care. That's different patients who have are living with different types of dementia. And so I go room to room and I play one-on-one therapeutic music for people. And so I did that for many years. And then when COVID happened and everyone was kind of like sent home for a while and we're stuck at home with nothing to do, nowhere to go, I was like, well, what am I going to do with myself? And I've always been writing music, but it's been many years actually since I've recorded and actively have been performing and working on my own original music. So that's the short version of the story.
It's definitely in story nonetheless. Definitely going through um quite the journey getting to this point. I noticed that you bring up being part of a five-piece band in the Bay Area, Sacramento and San Francisco, to be
Mhm.
more specific. Um, what was the experience like being part of the band? Getting to perform in Sacramento and San Francisco. What was the experience like?
Oh, I loved it. I love playing with a band. I also enjoy playing solo, but there's nothing like that full band sound, and especially when you become such good friends with everyone in the band and you vibe and connect, and you really feel the music and everyone's listening to each other, and I had so much fun. I Sacramento and San Francisco has pretty much every kind of music you can imagine, and I think we have a really nice music scene, and it was a lot of fun. And I know that you're having Andrew come on after me,
Hmm.
and he and I go way back. He played bass in my band. And so I used to go by my first name and my middle name, which is Jane. So it was Katie Jane. And yeah, he played with me for a long time. And then I've collaborated with him on different projects. And he's super talented as well as everyone else in the band. And um, so, yeah, that's how I met Andrew. He was my bass player.
Yeah, you and Andrew do have quite the history indeed, and it still goes on to this day. So you got your EP, My California, just came out um, recently. It's available on Bandcamp. It's available on all the platforms. And speaking of Andrew, we're gonna have him later on, and thanks to UBO Entertainment, y'all two just so happens to be on the exact same show. I think we're gonna try to get you both on at the same time to talk about the collaboration that you have off of Andrew's new album, which is coming out at midnight tonight. So we'll get into that once
Yeah,
Andrew calls in at the bottom of the hour. So you
cool.
you are literally stuck with me for almost the midpoint of the show. So but we'll get to Andrew once he calls in. Let's talk My California. Um,
Sure.
quite the inspiration of it, and it comes after a wildfire destroyed your childhood home. Just talk about the whole process of recording My California, the EP.
Yeah, so last year, um, I I had an experience. Well, all of California really. It was a really bad fire year, and there was a fire that happened near where I grew up, and overnight, in the middle of the night, it just all of a sudden like tripled, quadrupled in size, and people had to leave in the middle of the night. And as when they went to sleep that evening, it seemed like the fire was contained and far away. And anyway, my parents' house, which was the house I grew up in, and my parents lived there 45 years, it was gone, along with about 700 other homes in my childhood neighborhood. It's rural, so I wouldn't call it a neighborhood. We're talking like, country roads and just little farms all over. And it was the kind of heavy grief that you experience. That type of loss was unique. And I was angry and I was just devastated. And I picked up my guitar and I just thought about, what made my growing up so special. And out came this song. And it ended up being like a very upbeat and uplifting song. And kind of just talks a little bit about some regional aspects of my growing up. We grew up next to a lake, and it had a big creek that came out of a dam. And it's a farming town, very unique situation because most people are like, oh, you're from California. Oh, I mean, yeah, I've got San Francisco that's just a drive away, and Sacramento it's just a drive away. But then I lived out in the sticks, and you've got a lot of family farming communities out there and small towns. In fact, my town when I grew up didn't even have a stoplight, like a red, yellow, green light. But anyway, I kind of was became the therapeutic music. I used it on myself. I'm. It was it was interesting. It helped me cope with everything that had happened that summer.
Yeah, you pointed out music is indeed therapeutic for an artist. Just getting the feelings out. Talk about
Yeah.
pre experience that you've been through or somebody else has been through, and others can listen to it and be like, you know what, I know that feeling. I know where she's coming from in that regard. My California, the EP is a wonderful, well written, well sung, well produced EP. And is such an incredible body of work. Everybody involved did a great job putting this EP to fruition, and you all, the listeners out there, can hear it on Bandcamp, and you can hear it on all the digital music platforms as well. So shout out to California, going through a lot of adversity, with the wildfire and such, and just overcoming all of that and still going to this day. Katie,
Thank you.
you did an awesome job with this EP. I definitely enjoy it.
Thank you.
Music is indeed therapeutic, and I can see why people it resonates with your body of work, with your music. Um, My California, the title track is awesome. I played that before you called in. Another standout track is One Foot at a Time. Talk about
Thank
whiting
you.
that, and not only that, you did a music video for both My California and One Foot at a Time. So we talked about My California. Let's talk about One Foot at a Time. Talk about whiting that song. How did that came to be?
Okay. That song is very reflective of the times, especially last year when I wrote it. It was actually an older song. I have so many songs that I start and then kind of never finish, and I just push them to the side. And I was inspired by that quote, you know, everyone puts, or we all put our pants on one leg at a time. And last year, with just all of the disheartening things happening in the world, lots of different things socially across the United States that gave me the content to just come up with a song that basically the theme of the song is to be empathetic. And if we could all just tap into that empathy, show a little bit more kindness to one another, to our neighbors, to people in the community, people that we don't know, people that we do know that maybe have a different political viewpoint than we have, and just treat each other respectfully instead of showing hostility. And that's pretty much what the song is about, just um, being aware that someone else is different from you, and you might not know their full story, their full background, what their experiences are that have made them who they are at the moment. And so being empathetic, you don't know. So the music video I created, um, mostly you see feet. So you're seeing different shoes and people dancing, people working, people of all ages, all walks of life, and just kind of, I wanted to highlight the lyrics of the song that basically the focus is, you know, we all put our shoes on one foot at a time, just like everyone else. And that's how the song came to be. So again, I'm notorious for writing emotionally fueled love songs. And a lot of times I write them when I'm angry, and they may not even be about my significant other. They might be about another relationship that I have, but they come out as like these passionate breakup songs. But this last few years, I've really challenged myself to write about different topics. And it's really easy when you are emotional about something and you feel really strongly about a topic to come up with a song. So One Foot at a Time is one of those songs for me that was reflective of what the world was going through and my feelings in response to that.
I do like the concept of the music video. Definitely brings a storytelling element to it per se. And one foot at a time is, that's quite the analogy to go with. And I like how you describe it, emotionally fuel type music approach. Yeah, that's definitely, people get into their feelings and feel like, you know what? I feel like I'm a white song about such and such, and
Yeah.
so emotionally fueled. That's that could be looked at as a genre, or it could be like some conceptual album per se. Like, but I guess that's your
Hey,
thing.
maybe that'll be the name of my next album.
Ooh, emotionally fueled. You know what? Might as
That's
well. And
not
if
bad.
and if somebody else, if I see somebody use that title, then we know where it came from. Just gonna put that out there. Put that out there. So so that is the direction that Katie Fry wants to go. That's then emotionally fueled. That's gonna be her new full length album. Um, but until then, you can check out My California. The EP is on the platforms. Check out the music video for My California and One Foot at a Time. Is available on YouTube. You can check that out and support these artists. And I see some quotes about you. So this is from Roseville Today. Rockland songwriter and musician Katie Fry pays tribute to Northern California. The result is a heartfelt homage, as well as a reminder that difficult times give rise to newfound opportunities and optimism. Um, so when you get these quotes from these blogs, newspapers, magazines, what's that feeling like when you get quotes like that from social media and newspapers and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of getting back into it. Um, I mean, I like hearing from people and hearing what they think. I've always been a songwriter, and even during the years that I haven't performed my own music, I'm usually it's for myself. I'm just at home and I create, and that's just part of who I am. And but I realize, especially with my work as a therapeutic musician, my official title is a certified music practitioner. Doing that work, I have had the opportunity to really learn from my patients, and I've had the opportunity to experience so many meaningful um, exchanges, conversations, just knowing that what I'm doing is making a difference to someone else. And a lot of the patients that I have are not young people. So, because I'm working in hospice care and memory care, so I have learned so much from them and taken a lot of those experiences, and they've helped shape me into the musician that I am now. And I think that in order to get up there and sing your own songs and put them out into the world, you have to be able to just have a little bit of confidence, but be comfortable in your own skin. And I think I'm finally there. And so I don't let it get to my head when I hear nice things, because I think of it differently. I appreciate knowing that it's made an impact, and that's what matters to me the most.
With this EP, you're definitely repping from your home. You're repping from your home state. Putting a lot of perspective out there. This is definitely one of my favorite EPs of any genre this year. Just
Thank you.
hearing everything about what California been through, and just hearing about your journey is so incredible. I definitely have enjoyed just seeing what you have done up to this point, and you have um, so much more to come musically. And it's going to be incredible. You got a good upside as an artist, and you have a lot of support. You got UBO Entertainment. You join with them, and I'm gonna tell you a little funny story. So with Andrew, we booked this like months prior, and then I get a message from you saying you wanted to do an interview, and I gave you the available days, and you picked September the 18th. And what a coincidence! You two just so happens to be on the same show, and you both
Oh, I
are.
thought you planned all of
Yeah,
this.
no, 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 no. We planned Andrew a while back, and then you came along,
Wow.
and we added you to the day, and the rest is history. And I didn't even know that y'all were friends until Arius told me.
Oh,
So
wow.
what a small world we live in.
That really, really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And he helped me. He's playing the bass on my tracks, and then he helped mix and master them.
mm,
But then I actually recorded them um, at home, and it's taken me years. My husband is a musician also, and he has probably the last like 10 years or so, little bit by little bit, taught me what I need to know to start a project and record a song the way that I want to hear it. And so that's been really fun. And there's so many different parts to the music. There's writing it, then recording it, producing it, creating it, and then going out there and performing it. And I love all of them.
awesome. So for the songwriting perspective, or just being the musician in general, who do you consider like your musical influences, whether it's independently or mainstream? Who inspired you as an artist?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I honestly listen to everything. Growing up, my dad always had records in his garage, and he even had an 8-track player and some 8 tracks. And I remember listening to like the 1960s classic rock and 1950s pop and Motown and all that stuff. And then when I was in high school, it was the 90s, and so you had the grunge, but then you had everything. You had different hip hop. You had the singer songwriters that were female artists that really inspired me, and that was like Jewel and Sarah McLachlan and Tori Amos and like Tracy Chapman. You had all these female artists that were actually playing an instrument and then singing, and also taking credit for writing their own songs instead of just singing someone else's songs. And I do think that heavily influenced my desire to want to learn different instruments and learn how to create my own music.
That's quite the company. Jewel, Sarah, the 90s, that was quite the era of music, especially
Yeah.
for women. Alanis Morissette, you know,
Oh yeah,
you
that's
know,
another one that I listen to all
and
the time.
and the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
So here's what we're gonna do. Because this show is not necessarily known for doing this. But we're gonna try to keep you on until Andrew
Okay.
calls in. We're gonna
Okay.
talk about the collaboration that you have off of Andrew's album, and he's gonna call in about 7 minutes from now. We're gonna take a little breather. Um, this My California album, like I said earlier, such an awesome body of work. I like the cover as well. Got a nice cool hat. Got the guitar. Got the nice pose going in the background. Let's talk about the cover. What was that like?
All right. So the guitar that I'm holding is actually a guitar that I use for therapeutic music,
Mhm.
and I decoupaged the top of it. And I was working at the time at a day care facility that was a really fun place for senior citizens that had dementia to come and have meals together, play games, do music. And so my role, I was coming in and doing music, and I'd pass out tambourines, and everyone would dance and I would sing. And so I decoupaged the guitar with all kinds of photos and pictures of all of the artists that I would sing to them. So you probably can't zoom in close enough, but there's musicians from all different genres, like from the 1940s to the 1960s on that guitar.
A lot of history behind that guitar. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Very, very
Yeah, and
fascinating.
it's colorful. It's colorful. I actually dropped the guitar, and put a big ding in it.
Mhm.
And I've always wanted to cover my guitar like that, so I thought, oh well, I might as well now, because there's a lot of glue involved with decoupage, and so you kind of ruin the instrument when you do it, but then it's a piece of art.
My California is the EP from Katie Fry. Just came out recently, early this month. It's available on Bandcamp. It's available on all the digital music platforms. So make sure you give that a listen. Listen to all the tracks. And, obviously listening to the music on the platforms is pretty cool. But I've heard a lot of good things about Bandcamp. And you actually get paid a lot more when you buy the music through Bandcamp. And they've been having this thing called Bandcamp Fridays, like the first Friday of every month. They've been doing that, I say, since March of last year, and they've done it for majority of this year. and they took a hiatus, and now they brought it back as of last month or whatever. So that's something to keep in mind. I mean, you can buy the album now if you want to. That'd be great. But if you buy it on Bandcamp Friday, that will be awesome as well. So we're just waiting for Andrew to call so we can have them talk about this collaboration. For it's off of Andrew's new album. It's going to be coming out tomorrow actually. So it's
I can't wait. In my opinion, it's the best that I have heard him do. I'm very excited for it to come out. I've already got to have samples of the music ahead of time, so I know it's on there, but it's really good.
that's gotta be cool being the musician. Having fellow musician friends, collaborating, getting a sneak peek of the album before everybody else, and he's like trying to hold it together, like, oh, this album's gonna be awesome, man. And people want to get, what the album sound like, what the album sound like. Like, I ain't gonna say too much. Just wait, like everybody else. You gonna love it. So it's
Yeah, I know. I can't wait for midnight so then I don't have to, I won't spoil anything for anyone.
I must say, you're not only are a very talented musician, but you're very loyal too. So you're showing that loyalty on your side. So like, and Andrew, for what I've heard, um, so we talked about the collaboration while your song was being played, and it definitely sounds different from from what we know from Katie with My California. It's definitely a different beat, a different feel. Um, what was it like being, collaborating with Andrew on this track and just considering that this is a different type of beat from what for what your fans are used to hearing from you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I listen to every different genre. So I try I try to just do the kind of music that I know how to make, but I'm kind of a chameleon. I appreciate all different styles and I can sing everything. But he writes the music, it's his music, and I'm really excited for this album especially cuz he collaborated with a lot of people. So you're highlighting just the song that I collaborated with him on, but he's got some other really great players on different tracks of the album, which just had my jaw drop. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is cool." But anyway, he's I mean, we're kind of like two kids in a candy shop like when we're in the studio. Like if you start to get excited about something, then all of a sudden that energy just explodes and it's fun. Like I guess it's what we really like doing. So he just kind of sets me up and then tells me what he wants and then I pretty much just go in there and improvise and um it just really comes naturally. So I don't know if it's just that we have a history as playing um, in a group together because when he played bass for me in the band, that was also a totally different style. That was a little bit more rock, like the lead guitar player was playing like some more heavy chords. I feel like when I listen to early 2000s music, I can tell that it's early 2000s music. There's like a specific sound just with the instrumentation. So anyway, I mean, Andrew does the same thing. He's kind of a chameleon when it comes to being a musician. He can do it all. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what he has to say about everything.
So we're still waiting on Andrew. So I guess we'll just keep it going here while you're still here. just
Okay.
off the top of the head at this point. So you mentioned the studio session.
Yeah.
Obviously, chemistry, camaraderie, being on the same page is key, especially when you got an artist like yourself and a producer like Andrew. And me being a sports fan, I like to use a sports analogy as it pertains to these studio sessions. You know, the producer is kind of like the coach. The artist is like the player. You know, just
Oh, I like that.
putting you in a position to succeed. Gives you the game plan, and you go out and execute it. And from the song that I've heard from YouTube, it was well executed, and the song turned out amazing. I fell in love with the song from the moment that I've heard it. It is a fun song. I loved it. Andrew did great on the production. You did great as far as singing, and it just came, it just gelled. It gelled very well. I definitely love the song.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I do like electronic music, and I think that the female vocals go really well with bass heavy instrumentation. And I like listening to that style, and especially like the flowing, um, soft vocals.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, it kind of just comes naturally. But I did get really excited when he was like, "Oh yeah, I think you can hit some of these high notes." I was like, "Yeah, you think I can?" And then of course I tried it, and it's cool. I mean, in mainstream pop music, I don't think, I mean, you have to do it. The production has to be just so, and the song has to be just right for someone to like sing some opera style high sustained melody. But he's creative with what he does.
Yes, he is. I'm getting word that Andrew is calling in.
Cool.
I just tried to add him to the call twice, and Skype is getting way bipolar with me, and
Oh,
so
do you need me to get off?
no, you can stay on. I'm able to get two people on. You calling through my
Okay.
Skype, so I should be able to get you both on with no issue. So Andrew, if you're listening, wherever you may be, keep calling, and we'll get you on momentarily. And I want to thank Katie for being the trooper, for hanging on the air with me for nearly 40 minutes now, 43 to be exact. So we're trying to get Andrew here and have y'all talk about the collaboration together. And then we'll go on with Andrew for the remainder of the show. But thank you again to Katie for joining us. Check out My California, the EP from Katie Fry. It's available on Bandcamp and all the digital music platforms. And show your support with that. And check out Andrew's new album, High Tide, will be available on the platforms on midnight tonight. I'm going to assume midnight Eastern or maybe Pacific. I don't know. I just know that on Sunday it's going to come out. So let's see. Andrew's calling a third time. And let's see. Andrew, are you there? Andrew, are you there? I'm going to take that as a no. So let's see. I'm gonna try to call him and hope that it won't um put you on hold. That's the
Okay.
last thing we want to do here. Uh, so let's see. So just bear with us. We're joined with Katie Fry here, and hopefully we'll get both of y'all in here momentarily.